Hello, and welcome to my video lecture on the use of using number and range controls on your HTML forms. So here we have our HTML form, or an HTML form, um, and we've got some labels and some inputs. We've got things set for autofocus, we've got access keys, we've got required attributes, we've got pattern matching. And at this point, what we want to do is we want to set up something where the user can select from a very distinct set of values to control what data we're actually gathering. So now let's go to our number range control template that I have. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this information out. So here's my label and my inputs. I have one label that they both use. One uses a number input type, one uses a range input type. So we'll bring those over and bring them into this HTML form. Tab those over. Just so you can see when you're creating an input element, just want to make sure that you're aware that there are a great many input elements that you can use. So when you hit type equals, you can see here that there are quite a few that you can use when you're setting up your input type. There's text. Actually, I'm not sure what this is displaying right there. Equals. So inside there, I was expecting the IDE to give me a list of the various types, but there are various types of input controls that you can use. If you go and you search them, HTML input elements, forms and input, HTML input types. W3 Schools is a really nice website that has a lot of information, but as you can see, there's color, date, date time, date local, email, month. So there are various inputs that you would use for any number of reasons. Here, we're going to concentrate on these two. I am going to put this all on one line to make it a little easier to read. My opinion, anyway. So here I've got a label. I'm gonna get rid of that. So here's my label for a control called investment, and here's my input. This is a number input type. Its name is investment, which is going to associate it with this label. Here the ID is an investment, and again, the reason you would set up an ID is to use your cascading style sheets to format this nicely. But in this case, this is a number data type. We're using the minimum attribute to set the lowest number that can be picked. We're setting the maximum to set up the maximum number that can be picked from this control. The step is 100. So every time I use the up-down control, this is going to otherwise known as an up-down control. It's going to step up and down 100 from 100 to 1000. And in this case, I'm giving it the starting value of 300. The next one, again, we've done labels before, but here's the input, and this is what's known as a range input. So this actually gives you a slider control. The name of this is going to be book, so it's going to be associated with this label. Again, an ID is for cascading style sheet purposes. Here is the minimum is 1, the maximum is 5, which is your typical Likert scale, maybe 1 to 7, but 1 to 5 is pretty typical. And this will step 1. And we haven't given it a default value. So usually when you do that, it'll end up right in the middle. So what we're going to do is this is what our form looks like before we've added those controls. Let's save that, go to our browser. Then we'll refresh that. Then you can see this is why sometimes it's called an up-down control. It is going to move up and down by 100. It will stop at 100, which is our minimum value, and it will go up to 1000 and stop at 1000, which is our maximum value. Since we haven't given the slider control a value, you can see that it steps by 1. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5. So rate the book from 1 to 5, and you can use this for all sorts of reasons. And that is how you would use an up-down control or a number control and a range control on your HTML forms. And now that you know how to use them, I'd love to see them use it on your forms.